Hello, beautiful Hara. Welcome.
Hello, hello. Oh my gosh, so glad that we're finally doing this. I'm
Yes, and
excited.
welcome to everybody who is tuning in through Anya Lust. Hara and I are experts and consultants with Anya Lust. Hara, where are you tuning in from and what do you do?
I'm tuning in from San Miguel de Allende today, and I am an Eros embodiment ceremonialist. And I'm so happy to share space with all of you here today. And you?
Beautiful. I am Lindsay Derrick Hunt, and I am based out of none other than New York City. And I host events and coach people here around tapping into their sexuality and their self-expression. And so Hara and I are thrilled to be here with you all at Anya Lust today to be talking about how to connect to your sensuality and your feminine energy in the bedroom.
Yes. I'm so excited for this juicy, lovely topic.
Yeah. So Hara, I know a little bit of your story, but I would love to hear for those of the people who are tuning in, maybe they have had some issues connecting to their sensuality and their feminine energy, and maybe they wear their beautiful lingerie from Anya Lust, and people might be looking for, okay, what is that journey like to be able to really connect to that side of themselves? So I would love to hear from you about your journey in connecting to your sensuality and your feminine power.
Oh, there's a big story around that. I need a whole other life for that. But just to share a little bit, like how can we connect with that sensuality and feminine energy in the bedroom? I feel that what's most important really is bringing ourselves into a deep presence within our body. And I find that a big part of it is honestly, more than anything, it's just self-love into your own body, into your vessel, into your sexuality or sensuality. And this is part of why we want to bring this medicine into the field, right? Because when we can tap into our sensuality and sexuality, it's almost like we allow ourselves to awaken to all parts of ourselves without any censorship, without any of the conditionings around the bedroom. And the thing with sensuality is like, when you enliven that sensual being, that sensual state of yours, and you're able to tune into your body and be in this sacred energy exchange. I love to call it like sacred energy exchange in between your sacred body and the universe. That's ultimately where sensuality really starts. And honestly, to be blatantly honest, in the bedroom is pretty much the last place that it takes space. It's just a space to celebrate what you have created and outside of the world, like in your everyday life. So it is, the key is one. So number one, like the first thing that I would love to invite us to embody is just the practice of being deeply present in all aspects of life, even inside or outside of the bedroom. Because the deeper that you can be present and outside of life, you're not coming into the bedroom with stress and all these things and you're like contracted and nasty. You can be like, like, I'm so grateful and I'm open to receiving in the bedroom. And I think that's ultimately the key to receive that feminine energy. And I guess to kind of share my brief story quickly, I was a sex worker for a long time and I became a registered nurse in New York City as well. And that was, and Lindsay, you live in New York and you know what it's like very much go, pace and space in general. And that's really taught me on how can I move from that space and tap into my inner feminine and allow myself to just receive and lean back, which is essentially how we can really truly receive pleasure in the bedroom, right? Really enlivening that sensuality and that feminine energy. So yeah, that's my little 2 cents in the bucket for today, for right now at least.
Hara, there's so much that you said that I loved. And one of the things that really resonated with me is this idea that the bedroom is the last place that it shows up. And this feeling that sensuality and that receptive, flowing feminine energy is something that we're cultivating all the time or not cultivating all the time. And that when it comes time to be sexual or intimate with somebody, like that's kind of the cherry on top. Because so many people think of like, oh, I want to have really sexy, hot, intimate sex. But are you having that kind of engagement with yourself and with your body on a daily basis? Like, how are you eating your food? How are you walking down the street? How are you touching your, like the velvet on your jacket? Like, that's where you're cultivating that sense of sensuality, is in these small, like moment to moment practices.
Ah,
Yeah. And when it comes time to like caress your lover or kiss, then it's like, oh wow, all of this can just open up because I've been practicing this already. I remember I had a friend
exactly.
back when I was in college, and I'm a huge lover of food. Like I've always really, really loved food. And so I had made myself this beautiful hot fudge sundae with like Ben and Jerry's ice cream and hot fudge and whipped cream. And I was sitting there with
Oh,
my friend eating it. And the guy looks over at me and he's like, Lindsay, it looks like you're having an orgasm while you eat that sundae.
So good.
And I'm like, yeah, I kind of am, because it's the essence of that sensual way of being that we're really looking for. And when we've cultivated that, then it shows up naturally in our sexuality.
Yes, 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 it does. And it's like I love this example of just eating the ice cream and feeling the cold and the temperature change and melting in your mouth. And as you swallow it, you feel it traveling down your throat and your body and you receive it fully. It's just, and this is something that we could all practice right in our daily being, just like practicing that sensual eating, like imagining, okay, as soon as like this food is a way for me to almost like have a sacred exchange, like be in communion with planet Earth, right? Like really feeling into our bodies, and it's nourishing. And how can I receive that fully? And as you eat, you almost like, I love to cultivate this practice where it's like you receive it and then you imagine like all the different colors and all the different like pictures that you can paint with this food in your mouth. Like it's just like gets me excited. And it's like you said, it's like, oh, like somebody could look at you and have this orgasmic experience with just food. And so many of us don't think of food as that, but it honestly, I feel like food is the most sensual experience that we can cultivate and ruminate and be in that sensual slowness and just like, can I just taste every inch and every little bit, every granule of this quinoa or whatever it is, or like the texture of the avocado in my mouth, like can I just, and that's honestly, like you said, like literally having an orgasm full blown right in the open and just almost like, yeah, receiving it fully in your body, not just like a thing to, oh my God, I just got to eat this thing because I'm hungry as fuck, I'm going to eat it. And it's like, and then that's it. So it's just really the act of this full receptivity. And I love that so much. I love that you bought the ice cream experience. Oh, with the hot fudge.
Yeah. Yeah. Hara, right before this call, I was frying an egg for myself. And I like the pan wasn't quite hot enough yet for the egg. And so I kind of cracked the egg and then I was holding it and it like I didn't quite let it go out, and I was noticing like part of it start to come out, like the white part. And I was like, oh my God, this is like such a sensual sexual experience of like cracking open this egg and watching it like come onto the pan and watching it sizzle and cook. And like I was blown away by just the simple sensuality of something that I do like every day. But I realized, and this is a tip for those of you who are listening, that so much of that capacity to tap into the sensuality that we're looking for in our bedroom life or in our sexual life is to really be able to slow things down. And instead of just metaphorically crack open the egg, fry the egg, eat the egg, like it's like what happens when you really take the time to actually feel the texture and see what's happening. And that there can sometimes be a discomfort in that, right? Because oftentimes a lot of that rushing that we do, the kind of sensation seeking, okay, next thing, next thing, next thing, next thing, next thing, it's sort of like we're we're skimming the surface of life. We're like kind of bouncing around on the surface, and we're saying, okay, but where is the good sex here? Like, where is the juiciness here? But you're kind of bouncing along on the surface because you're going so quickly that you're not really sinking into feeling what's happening and seeing what's happening, which is the essence of a sensual experience. So in that, the willingness to slow down, even if it's just in our minds and in our bodies, taking a deep breath, letting your eyes linger a moment longer, like letting yourself feel into something. It takes a certain bravery and a willingness to open ourselves up to really feel what's present moment to moment. And sometimes that we're skimming the surface here because there's something here that we don't want to feel,
Mhm.
right? But the ability to
Yeah.
tap into that full sensual range requires that bravery to open and to slow down enough so that we can fall into those waves of experience, the sadness and the fear and the anger and the joy and the bliss and the ecstasy. And like, when we're able to do that, like, life
Yes.
becomes this vivid, beautiful experience, but it comes with that willingness to actually drop into feeling all of our experience, not just the things that we want to experience.
Oh, that was potent. I love that. Let's take a deep breath to that. Yes, 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 yes. I love this. And it's just, yeah, tapping into our sensuality is deeply healing for many people because it does tap into these things that we often skim the surface with, right? And like, um, one of my favorite things that a mentor has shared with me is like when you're just going from the next thing, from one thing to the next and the next thing, you're really missing the listening in. When are you actually tuning in and listening into your body? And that's actually when you feel all the things. It's like sometimes the deeper the pleasure, the deeper the rooting. I like to say rooting because like you go, it's kind of like you said, you're like going in to all of this underneath. And at the same time, like, yes, sometimes it may be challenging and dark and it can get scary and fearful for some people, but ultimately that deep rooting is gonna bring up that abundant fruit. And that's like where the juiciness, like where the juicy mangoes come from, or the pomegranate. So yeah, so well, fuck, I really love this conversation. Into all the juiciness and
Mm,
yumminess.
mm. And what kind of tips would you give to someone, Hara, someone who's looking to cultivate that rooting and that ability to really drop in and feel?
Honestly, the same thing I said in the beginning, just really allow yourself to be deeply present in all of the moments in your life, like especially during challenges, right? This is like, I've always shared with the Templars and the Monarch Temple that, embodiment really doesn't take place in the Zoom call or in the circle where we sit down and do this sensual practices together. It's easy to show up for those things, but can you cultivate that outside of these circumstances to make it into a non-circumstantial sensual experience of your life? Is like, so the next time you're going through challenges, like, which is like you go into the depths of things, and actually we actually work with this with one of the Anjala's clients that I had, where she kind of like, we were in the middle of the class and she encountered a block, and we were able to, okay, well, let's tune in and really witness that block. Can you really allow yourself to see yourself without any judgment, without any needing to fix anything, and just honor that feeling so deeply in your presence, and then move from that place of inner centeredness and then move. And she was able to, and it was actually amazing because she had her beloved in the session with us, and it was amazing to literally watch that expansion for her. And she was able to tap into like her inner domina, and then was like, bam, it was like a whole new woman was birthed in that session. So it really, like the tip is really, you know, I shared this story because it's just a testament of how amazing it is when we can cultivate that deep presence. So the next time you're going through a challenge, and this is my favorite trick, very simple. And next time you're going through a challenge and you notice yourself going into this nervous system panic storm kind of type of thing, you can just tune into, breathe down into your center, loosening up your seat bones so that you're,
Mhm.
I love to say, like loosening up your anus, actually allowing your anus to drop down to the ground and be grounded to the earth, feel that support, and then tune into your breath, and then feel into how your clothes feel in your skin, and
Mhm.
how good that feels in your skin. And even if like everything feels stormy outside of you, that you know you're always in this body and you can always tune into that feeling of centeredness and groundedness within yourself. And
Mhm.
that's sort of like, that I feel is the key practice. And just like Lindsay has said, like just take a moment in terms of times of challenges, slow down, breathe, pause, root down, and then make a movement from there. And it's just honestly, again, keep it simple, stupid, very simple, very easy. And it's something that I used to cultivate all the time
Mhm.
in even in the medical field through the ICU and being a surgical nurse, and quite a wide variety spectrum of experience. And that has always been the one practice that has brought me closer to tuning into my sensuality, even though it doesn't seem like this is not being sexy in the bedroom sucking on a mango or whatever it is, but it really it starts from there, you know. So then we can suck the mangoes too.
Yes, then we can talk the mangoes. I love that.
Yeah.
Oh,
What about you, Lindsay? You want
yeah.
to share a couple of
Yeah.
things?
Yeah. Well, thank you for that practice, Hara. I love it. I was doing it as you were speaking. I was like, okay, breath down, loosen the sit bones, relax the anus. I was
Mhm.
like, this is good stuff. This is really good. What was coming up, Hara, as you were speaking is this sense of safety and
Mhm.
cultivating this feeling in the body, not an idea, oh, I'm safe, because we can logically think, oh, I'm safe,
Yeah,
right?
let's.
Most of our life, we
Yeah.
are safe, but we don't always feel safe in our bodies.
Mhm.
And so when we're able to tap into that sense of well-being and activate the parasympathetic nervous system, so calming down the fight and flight response and really dropping into this sense of safety and well-being in our bodies, from that place, pleasure is natural.
Mhm.
Like
Yes.
pleasure isn't something we have to reach for. We don't have to try to be sensual beings. We are sensual beings. We are sexual beings. And even just kind of feeling the wind on your face can be an erotic and sensual experience if
Mhm.
our bodies are in the receptive and relaxed state to receive that, right?
Exactly.
So I really think that the majority of the work, so to speak, it's not really work, like you said, it's actually more of a relaxing and an undoing into the flow and the sensuality that's already available to us. Yeah.
Yeah, it really is just reclaiming all of us. That's what it is, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like I said, yeah, we don't need to try. We are already sensual beings.
Mm.
Just get to tap into it more.
Beautiful.
Ooh.
So if you're tuning into this, I invite you to take a deep breath with us, breathing in through your nose and out through your mouth.
Ah.
Let's do that one more time. When you can make a sound as you exhale, breathing in.
Hmm.
So this feels like a good concluding point to me, Hara.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to
Yes.
share? If people would like to work further with you or find you, how can they reach out?
Yeah, well, for now, all of you can find me in the Anya Last Sensual Wellness classes section. And I do have a few offerings there, offerings ranging from BDSM 101 to awakening your inner domina to just self tantra practice, Jadic practice, magic wand practice, all the things in there. So that's where you can find me, and you can also find me on Instagram at i.m.hara. Thank you so much for tuning in. And how about you, Lindsay? Where can they find you? and your juiciness and all of your delicious posts and things. I always enjoy them. So
yeah, likewise. So you can find me at Instagram. My Instagram handle is my full name at lindsayderrickhunt.com. You may also see me popping up on Anya Lust, working to create some offerings there. And if you are in the New York City area, absolutely reach out because I do host in-person events here in the city around sexuality and self-expression. So just ping me on Instagram or check out my website through my Instagram if you want to learn more.
thank you. Thank you.
Mwah.